Now, back in 2011, he bought $25,000 worth of Bitcoin when it was trading at just $1 a coin and became one of the first big proponents for the cryptocurrency, hence the name Bitcoin Jesus. Fast forward to today, and that original investment is now worth roughly $425 million. Ver now runs Bitcoin.com, an online platform for storing digital currencies. He joins us on the fast line from a beach. Why a beach? Because he can. Roger is the original crypto baller. Roger, great to have you with us on Fast Money.
Thank you so much.
I feel like we should call it fast cryptocurrencies. Roger, I want to get your views on Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. I know you prefer Bitcoin Cash, but first of all, for Bitcoin, because that's what most of our retail viewers are trading these days, what's your view on where this asset could go?
Well, I think lots of people are excited and they have this fear of missing out. So they're piling in, and just don't be the last one holding the bag. But the reason I became the first investor in the entire world to start investing in Bitcoin startups is because it allowed you to send and receive any amount of money with anyone else anywhere in the world instantly, basically for free, and there is nothing anybody could do to stop it. Bitcoin Cash still has all those properties. Today, Bitcoin, if you want to send money to somebody, costs tens or even hundreds of dollars per transaction. So if you're trading oil or copper or gold futures, all of those things have some utility. Whereas Bitcoin, at this point, I'm really concerned about the future of Bitcoin because a group of developers have gotten in charge of it, and they openly say that they wanted to have high fees and slow and unreliable transactions. And if that's the case, guess what? People aren't going to use it. And as the CEO of Bitcoin.com, we switched all of our infrastructure over to supporting Bitcoin Cash. We're going to cross 1 million Bitcoin Cash wallets here in the next 24 hours. It's a really exciting time. So if you feel like you missed out on Bitcoin back in 2011, take a look at Bitcoin Cash, give it a use. I think you'll be really impressed with the usefulness because it has the same economic formula that led Bitcoin to be this worldwide phenomenon as it is today. But Bitcoin Core, the one that's being traded on the futures market today, no longer has those characteristics, whereas Bitcoin Cash does.
So as much as Bitcoin has soared, you think Bitcoin Cash has even more upside?
Absolutely. Bitcoin Cash actually has utility. You can actually use it to pay in people around the world, and you can do it for less than a penny. I can send $1 million from the beach here in St. Kitts to you in snowy New York, and it costs less than a penny, and you receive it on your phone instantly. If I tried to do the same thing with Bitcoin Core, it would probably cost $50 or $100, and it might not show up for hours, days, or even weeks. So there's a real difference in the amount of utility between the two. And if you're looking at a cryptocurrency, that means it's used for payments. It's clearly Bitcoin Cash. It's not Bitcoin Core.
If Bitcoin has less utility than Bitcoin Cash and you're concerned about Bitcoin, does that mean that you think the price of Bitcoin will go down, or do both go up, in tandem with maybe more upside on Bitcoin Cash?
I think that there's definitely more upside in Bitcoin Cash in the long term. But in the short run, people are going crazy over Bitcoin Core at the moment. But I'm in this for the long run. I want to see the entire world have a form of money that they can use and not require permission from banks or governments or anybody at all. And that's clearly the vision for Bitcoin Cash. That's clearly not the vision of Bitcoin Core at this point. So I've actually sold the majority of my own Bitcoin Core coins for Bitcoin Cash, and very pleased with that. It's up, 400% in the last couple of weeks. And Bitcoin.com, the world's one of the top websites in the entire world for Bitcoin-related things, is fully supporting Bitcoin Cash. So if you really want to get at the ground floor, I would spend some time looking to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin.com has all the information. And in my book, Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin.
Hey, Roger, it's BK. Glad to have you on here. So I'm curious, is there a world that you can see where both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash exist together, where Bitcoin Cash maybe is that transactional currency and Bitcoin Core, as you're calling it, is just the digital gold?
Well, actual physical gold is traded and is used as a store of value because it has all sorts of other use cases. It's used in electronics, it's used in dentistry, it's used as jewelry, and it's because it has those secondary use cases that people feel safe using it as a store of value, whereas Bitcoin Core at the moment doesn't really have any other use cases other than being a store of value. And if that's the only use case, I don't think people are going to continue to use that. They're going to use a digital currency that you can also use to buy things, buy your coffee at Starbucks, for example.
So I just want to underscore this, Roger. Where do you see in the long run Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin going?
So I think in the short run it can go up a lot more, but if it continues to have these high, tens or even hundreds of dollars in fees and slow, unreliable transactions, which is what the developers that managed to seize control of the Bitcoin Core project have managed to do, guess what? If things are super expensive and unreliable, people are going to use something else. And I think that's something else that they're going to use is Bitcoin Cash. And once Bitcoin Cash surpasses Bitcoin Core in terms of market cap and price and people using it around the world, people are just going to call it Bitcoin. And not too much longer after that, they're just going to call it cash because it's going to be the cash for the entire world.
So Bitcoin's days are numbered, it sounds like you're almost saying.
I'm really pessimistic on the long-term future of Bitcoin because you can do an experiment. Get a free Bitcoin wallet from Bitcoin.com. It has both a Bitcoin Core and a Bitcoin Cash wallet. Have someone send you $20 in Bitcoin Cash and send it back to them. They'll get the entire $20 back. If they send you $20 of Bitcoin Core, it'll cost them an additional $50 to send it, and you probably won't even be able to send it back to them because the entire amount will be used up in fees. So Bitcoin Core is basically like digital gold. It crumbles into nothingness every time you try and use it.
Obviously, it took a lot of conviction and it took a lot of prescience to invest in Bitcoin at $1 a piece 6 years ago. Do you feel more conviction about Bitcoin Cash today than you did about Bitcoin 6 years ago?
I'm more convinced that Bitcoin Core, if it continues to have high fees and unreliable transactions, it's not a currency. It's no longer a cryptocurrency. It's just a game of hot potato at that point. And games of hot potatoes can go on for a long time, and lots of people can pump a lot of money into it, and it might go on for even decades. But as far as it being used as a money, the developers behind it have destroyed that at this point. So I think it's Bitcoin Cash, and there's 1,001 other competitors out there as well. There's Monero, there's Zcash, there's Zcoin. There's a whole bunch of them out there that are all vying to be used as currency around the world. And if you don't offer your customers the best product with the best user experience at the lowest cost, they're going to go somewhere else. And that's exactly what's happening with Bitcoin. We've watched Bitcoin in the last 6 months go from nearly 100% market share in the cryptocurrency space to now down around 50% market share. And that's as a direct result of it having a bad user experience and having a development team that openly say they want it to have a bad user experience. So it pains me as being the world's first investor in Bitcoin, Bitcoin startups, to say these bad things about Bitcoin. But the fact of the matter is the utility of Bitcoin has been damaged severely by these people, but that utility still exists in Bitcoin Cash. It's an absolute joy to my face every time I use Bitcoin Cash.